Okay, this is like the fourth time I've tried to record this because something always happens. But, so, overall, just before I start breaking it down, film is pretty damn good. Lighting looks on point, sound looks on point, composition's on point. You know, I don't really think there's anything wrong with your footage necessarily, and certainly, you got coverage, right? It's an hour and 15, so I'll have to skip around because I only have 15 minutes. Um, I like the acting you guys have here, and I think it does contribute to how we are intrigued by the story. I do think this is like, it makes me intrigued by the story. It makes me want to watch it more, just because, you know, I'm entertained, right? I like the shift in lighting. So I just now I watched this thing that you did. I mean, I noticed it when you were behind the table. I don't know where. Yeah, here. I noticed the clicking when you were behind the table. I thought it was like the gun clicking, which, I mean, if I watched it and thought the gun was clicking, maybe you could just use that for the gun clicking. But you know, I think that you have pretty good sound, and as well as having pretty good sound, you have a lot of sound that you're gonna want to have in, right? Because you have like guns clicking, like tables flipping, like people running around grunting, like having a firefight. So it's like you would want obviously to have that sound in the movie. I think it definitely punctuates it well. And I think that if you probably maybe you're gonna do something in post with this and make it look better. Honestly, I think as far as the student film goes, I think it's almost charming when it is less. You know what I mean? Like I think it's almost, although you could go in post and make it look like a real gun firing, which I'm sure you know how to do, because I mean this is shot really well. I assume you've done this before. Um, you know, you could do that, but I also think if you didn't even want to do that, this is like your friend timed that really well. Um, and almost I think it makes us think that it's the gun clicking, not the light clicking. I like this. This is like one of my favorite shots here. It's when you come up from it cleanly. Yeah, I think that's it. Worked. The clicking the light is creative. It works really well as a muzzle flash. Um, as far as music, I think that if you wanted to put music on the film, you could. But I would be careful not to drown things out with the music. Maybe get like a score that's like just kind of sitting in the background, or maybe that's like slowly rising with like the action of the movie. And as well, talking about action, obviously I think you'd benefit from like pacing this a little quickly, right? Like cutting from this to like him behind the table to the close-ups you got. Like I think if you chop it up, you have a lot of footage, right? So already this is probably gonna be like, you know, closer to 5 minutes than 2.5 minutes, right? But I think that, um, yeah, if you chop it up and pace it quicker, obviously that's gonna get you that nice action feeling, which I'd assume you want if you're firing guns. If you're having like a firefight, I assume you want the action. Yeah, and again, you're in focus. You're like taking cover behind Yeah, well, that's nice. This is a cool close-up. Ooh, that's cool. This is a really good shot. I like this a lot. Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, the footage here is great. You have a lot of good. You have not only is it like really like cinema-wise creative, like it is well shot. So I'm just trying to think ways I can. I mean, most of this stuff is like that I have written down from her talking about how we should be critiquing is, I mean, it almost doesn't even really apply to you because you did it all pretty well. So I think that lighting wise, it's cool. Lighting wise, I think that in some cases, I mean, obviously there's the issue of like being underexposed, but in some cases I think that having just cool or just warm light would be good. Although I'm not saying that this is bad. I'm not saying that having the cold light here and the warm light there is like bad. I think it does even create a pretty cool contrast because it makes it like the shadow is blue and the light is almost yellow or orange. So I think that's cool. But you also could have, I think, to some extent you could have done like this cold light and then made it like uniform, which I think you did here, right? You